Now, after their toughest road ever to the finals, the Creamline Cool Smashers are once again queens of the Premier Volleyball League. Now, before we dive deep into the stories of the finals, let's hear from the champs themselves right after bringing home their 8th PVL title.
Siyempre, mas special ngayon kasi, yun nga, may mga talo kami. So, na-test yung team kung gaano katatag talaga. Yung trust, nandiyan palagi. So, siguro mas maganda ngayon, yung trust nanatili sa amin. Siguro, tinetest lang talaga yung mga karakter ng mga players and ng team. Siyempre, medyo matagal na magkakasama. Siguro yung nagpanalo sa amin, chemistry pa rin.
I mean, everything was such a blur. It was an overball, so in some sort of way, it was a bit anticlimactic pa nga, diba? It's usually a spike or something. But, I mean, I didn't expect anything like that. It's really just a bonus. I mean, the reason we got there in the first place was because of my teammates who talagang kinayod nila. And it was a good serve in the first place. That's why yun lang din yung talaga yung nangyari. So, bonus lang talaga sa akin yan. It's really because of the whole team.
And tonight, joining us to break down all the finals action are our resident analysts, Fille, Cainglet-Cayetano, and Jamie Lavitoria.
Why'd you chop your hair? Why'd you chop your hair?
Where's the braid?
I'm a new person.
It's a new alter ego.
Wow, okay. This is now a legitimate rivalry.
Yes.
When you make the finals two straight, di ba? And you are, top of elimination round, the preliminaries. This is definitely a rivalry, no sister act here. Tell me about, what your perception is for the last two conferences for these two teams.
Actually, yung fearless forecast was, again, Choco Mucho and Creamline.
You did say that.
Yes, and here in the show. And, for the past year, sila rin, di ba, last season. And
Last
this
conference.
parang replay ulit na
Right.
what happened every set, every game. It's been a replay. Pero for Creamline, for me, this season, this conference is one of the best to date.
Yes.
Kasi nga, for the longest time, si Creamline sa All Filipino Conference, they've been dominant. Pagpasok pa lang nila, ay, Creamline na magka-champion. And it kind of got boring. Pero in this conference, iba ang daming storyline, ang daming plot twist. Creamline was hanging tooth and nail to get into the top 4. Pero in the end, sila pa rin ang main character in this conference.
Right,
Yeah.
Jamie, as much as, Phil mentioned na it's a replay of the last conference, what made this conference a little bit more different also? Na kahit nagtapat yung dalawa, iba pa rin yung story na pinapanood ng tao.
Well, in the final series between the Choco Mucho Flying Titans and Creamline, you could see that after each game, after each conference, everyone has stepped up. This is the first conference that I think I said this yesterday on Fanstream that the Creamline Cool Smashers needed to be shaken up a bit to realize to be under that type of pressure. And as for the Choco Mucho Flying Titans, they were steady all throughout. They just needed to take care of the small details during that game yesterday. They had a few miscues here and there, and during a game with that magnitude, you cannot afford to make silly mistakes like that.
Let's also give credit to them. They battled injuries. Injuries have always been a story for Choco Mucho. That's why this run to me also, just like Creamline was impressive because of the story that Phil mentioned. Yung run naman ng Choco Mucho is very impressive with the fact that no Ogunsanya, no Des Cheng could not come back. And then halfway through, you lose your second best scorer and a top 5 blocker of the league in Cat Tolentino. So hats off to both of them. And I said it at the start of game 1. The crowds, they did not come out just because they're popular. They came out because they proved for the second straight conference, they're the 2 best teams in the league. So yun na-appreciate ng tao na magaling talaga sila. Okay, speaking of magaling, maraming magagaling na performances also. Let's talk about some of your choices or some of the ones that we've seen. Like, we gotta, acknowledge Royse Tubino stepping up in not just in the finals, the semifinals onwards.
Yeah, actually, we were all in Fanstream screaming for
Royse.
Screaming for every point. And I feel like Royse really came out of her shell.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it.
It's her first time to get into the semifinals and finals and feel the crowd,
Big
the
time.
support, the pressure. It's her first time to feel all that, and she was like in game, like if you see her face, kulang na lang may usok sa ilong niya, diba?
Yep.
Like her eyes was on fire, diba? Yeah.
At true, parang army na army yung ano niya.
Yes. Train na train, na warrior.
Tama, di ba?
Yes.
But, Jamie, we know this, that it wasn't like that at the start. The preliminaries, she looked very nervous in her first time. So, what do you think changed with her?
I think she needed to go through those moments. She looked a bit frozen in the preliminaries.
Right.
And she needed to slowly gain that momentum and realize that, oh wait, I can do this and I have this confidence. And it did show in yesterday's game when Cece was in the back row. They needed a go-to because Cece was being silenced already because of the blocking of Creamline. So who had to step up? It's either Isa Molde or Royse Tubino. And she did step up, breaking that block, especially in the fourth set. That was crucial when they really needed to get that side out.
Pinapalakpakan din siya ng crowd, by the way, Si Royce yung simula.
Again, yesterday we were screaming
So
our
good.
hearts out.
Kayo pala
every
yung
time na
narinig
si
ko.
Yes! Grabe kasi talaga. I guess, to wrap it off, Royse Tubino, you know, she wasn't expecting to have this many minutes in a game. And for her to eventually perform in the semis and then the finals in the biggest crowd ever in the PVL, you know, talagang hats off to her. But
Ready siya kasi
ready.
condition lagi si Royce.
Yes.
Condition lagi si
Always,
Royce.
always.
And a great recruit from PLDT, obviously, and a great transfer. BDL, what a poetic moment.
I know, I was gonna say poetic justice
Right.
for BDL.
Ayoko naman sabihin justice. Parang controversial naman yung justice. Pero moment.
Romantic moment for
okay,
her
okay.
na she scored the last point
Yes.
against her previous team na konti lang yung playing time niya.
Right,
Diba?
right.
Fact. It's a fact that
Yeah,
she wasn't
for sure.
played that much in Choco Mucho. So she switched team and, you know, you saw her improvement in Creamline.
Yes.
The trust that Kyle gives to Bea whenever, masipag kasi pumasok si Bea for
Correct.
quick. And even the blocking in game 1, her
Yes.
blocking came
good.
off the bench. I think she scored 5 points from her block. And for Bea Del, you know, to have that moment, that grand moment, sabi niya nga sa interview kanina na it was a bonus. It was a team effort for everyone to get into the finals and win the championship.
Jamie?
Well, if there's one word to describe Bea, she's so passionate with this sport. I mean, after each attack, you can see that growl ever since Ateneo days. And
That's the word, growl. It is
it's
a
really
growl.
And I mean, ever since she was in Choco Mucho, you did mention this, she didn't get a lot of playing time. And mentally, that's really tough as a player. And then now entering a championship team, that's not the easiest of tasks to adjust to. But knowing her teammates like Eliza Valdez, Ella De Jesus, Gemma Galanza, I'm sure she now fits well in her new home.
I actually saw the post of Pao Soriano kasi I think partners
I saw
sila.
that, yeah.
Partners
Sa
sila
training.
sa training and like Bea said na, thank you for your patience. I guess like it's a team effort. Kahit, you know, Pao Soriano is a veteran, also a champion
And
player.
OG
OG
Creamline.
Creamline. So like, it was really a team effort. Na kahit bench player ka, they were all in it to win it.
Every conference, every year, Eliza Valdez's role changes.
Yes.
She morphs into something, somewhere, somehow. But she now, as an OG member, 8th title. Guys, talk about that.
Yeah, actually, she was subbed in the 5th set to
Right.
serve. She served twice.
Right.
And syempre kinabahan ako para sa kanya. Yeah. Very crucial. And then,
Yes.
diba, pero like, knowing
wala
her,
eh, no?
yeah, knowing her, she's a strong heart. Siya yung epitome of heart strong din talaga. And I feel like, what else can we say about Eliza Valdez? But I can talk about her leadership lang sa team. Na even
You
though
have
she's-
experience.
Yeah, even though she's out of the court, iba pa rin pag nagsalita si Eliza Valdez. You know, kami experiencing her as my team captain, she let us all be leaders inside the court or outside the court. Parang hinahayaan lang kami pag-training, correct ng isa. But when she talks, everybody listens. Yeah.
What about speaking of leadership, the new leader with a new role, Gemma Galanza as finals MVP?
So good. I mean, during that post-final series, I always say that she morphs into a different beast during the finals, whether she attacks down the line or we know their classic combination plays. I mean, she's very steady also in the back row with her receive, and not just her points as well. She's also a leader like Atelay as well.
Yes.
She leads by example, and you can rely on her when they need a point right away. But I mean, Gemma, she was on point during the final series.
Yeah, 11 points lang sa preliminaries ang average.
Yes.
Semifinals, 23.
Crazy.
Finals,
Yeah.
20 and
Crazy,
20. sinabi niya, she loves playing in pressure moments. That's exactly why she produces that much. Phil, you have the last word on this because you've been part of the team. Ano pa? What does this add to the, the Creamline story, the Creamline legacy? Sabi ko nga sa intro ko yesterday in the game, get greedy, you want to win. But what does this do to them?
I feel like from Coach Sherwin's interview there kanina, parang sabi niya, test of character, tinest yung team, test yung patience and trust nila. And after overcoming that storyline for them na they lost and then hindi pa sila di makapasok sa top 4, but in the end, they end up victorious, parang it makes you love them more. And it makes you understand why people support them and love them. And you know, now that they've learned from this conference, I'm sure they're gonna level up also. They're gonna have a heavier recruitments, new players, young blood, for sure.
Because they know these other teams are
They,
coming.
Once again, targets on their back.
Right,
Maybe
they're
they'll have
coming.
another, also a Brooke Vansickle na fill out.
Who knows?
Right?
Hey, but the point here also for them, it's a statement that you want to win a championship, you go through us. That's just the Creamline way. All right.